Welcome to our new Wildcat Insider. I'm Nick Montaigne. It's great to have you alongside. Today, we're joined by longtime Villanova field hockey coach, Joanie Milhous. Joanie, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks so much, Nick.
It's great to see you. I hope everybody's doing well in your household. But because of the COVID-19 scare, students at Villanova and obviously all over the world are taking online classes. How are your kids adapting to it? And can you take into some of the details in terms of how some majors it's maybe easier online and maybe it's a little bit more difficult for some or are used to more hands-on Q&A?
Sure. I'll tell you that I think it was definitely an adjustment at first as far as them taking online classes and getting used to that. I think it's an adjustment for both the professors and the students. But I think that has been they've done a good job actually adapting to that. The feedback that we've gotten, it's definitely harder for some majors. I think the nursing majors have a totally different thing going on, and it's definitely different for them because they're not able to do on-hand clinical work. So I think that's a little harder for them. But as a whole, I'd say these girls are really doing an amazing job of adjusting, as are professors.
That's great to hear. Can you give us a little bit of an idea how your players are keeping in shape during this time? Gyms are closed, so I've been running outside. Have the girls been doing cardio, just getting out there in their running shoes and running? Are you having them doing fitness workouts inside their house? And how do they keep up with field hockey specific drills, maybe in the backyard, something like that?
Yeah, that's definitely been a big adjustment as well. I mean, they don't have the resources at home that they were used to at Villanova. They don't have the personal training of our strength and conditioning, great coaching staff. So they've had to be really resourceful and very creative, and they have been. And it's been exciting to see what they've done. Our strength and conditioning coaches have put a lot of workout videos online, and they've been following them. Due to NCAA rules, we're not allowed to monitor them or have them, give us their exact feedback and everything on them. But they've been really creative in doing different type of cardio classes together. They've done some Zoom classes together as far as workouts. It's been fun. We actually have a few committees that we put together during this pandemic time, and one of them is a fitness committee. So they've been really creative and have had a lot of fun with it. But they're being really good with keeping up with it.
I guess not too many burpees. I know that can drive a lot of players a little bit crazy when you do that. But that's good. They're staying in shape, obviously. Joanie, let's talk about you. I've gotten to know you over the years, obviously. But what really got you into coaching in the first place? At what point in your career did you say, hey, I'd love to be a head coach of collegiate field hockey?
I knew really early, I think in high school, when I would help my high school coach do her camps. And my sister was a coach of mine as well, and I would do her camps. And I just had the best time of teaching these young girls how to do something and then seeing them get it. And that light bulb go off, and were so excited when they would understand and be able to do a specific skill. And I knew I played field hockey and lacrosse in college, and I just didn't know which sport I wanted to coach, but I knew that I definitely would wanted to coach after college.
And what's been your favorite part of coaching through the years? Would you pinpoint the teaching one-on-one? Do you like getting out on the road and recruiting? Is it the game day experience? What seems to be the best part of being a coach?
I think it's the combination of all of them. I love the recruiting part because I love getting to know these girls and seeing if they're the right fit for our team. I love the teaching part because it's fun for me. That part has not gotten old. Actually, it's gotten even more exciting. And I love absolutely, I think my favorite part is when come game time and one of our players actually does that skill and sees themselves accomplish something that we've been working on, and they see that hard work pay off, and just the joy of them being so happy with it. I think is one of the best parts.
They say wisdom comes with experience, as you learn so much from being a coach through the years. What do you think you've learned the most, and how have you changed personally and adapted in your coaching style? And explain to us all how you've really changed your coaching philosophy through the years.
I definitely have. I think you have to in this day and age, and how long that I've been coaching. I've actually reflected like what has been my whole progression and seeing what I've done and what I haven't done and what changes and adjustments I have made. I think in my early years, I definitely looked for those recruits who um, I'd say had the most intangibles and the best work ethic, and that they were just the hardest workers on the field. And then we started getting those kids, and then we started becoming better, and we got more recognition, and then we started attracting top players and top recruits. And some of those intangibles don't always come with the top recruits. So I think I assumed that they did, and then I saw that they didn't, and I learned and I grew and I adjusted, and I think I've gone back to my old recruiting styles where I'm looking for the hardest worker on the field. I'm looking for the girl with the best attitude. I'm looking for the most competitive player. I'm looking for the girl that just wants to learn. So I've gone back to that. Instead of looking for the girl who can do an amazing reverse chip, I'm looking for the hardest worker, because I think that goes along with our entire philosophy and wanting to learn and not being afraid to work hard.
Yeah. And intangibles definitely is one of those things that sometimes you can't teach. So I understand that when you find it, it's very important. So that's a great point. So many kids, Joanie, you mentioned it before at Villanova. Athletes, student athletes, non-athletes at our great university get into nursing, and it's such a big major at Villanova. So many of your kids through the years have handled the nursing major and been a Division I student athlete. It's been very impressive, and just seeing how so many kids have gotten into the field working on the front lines. How proud of you are of your former players that they're working in the medical field and helping out our
I
society?
couldn't be more proud. I am, that's probably one of my favorite things of all over the years coaching, is seeing how many, there are 26 that I have coached that are in the medical field today. And I literally spent one day in isolation here and went through all the players that I have coached and where they are today. And then we did a whole social media piece on it and highlighted each of them with Lauren from our media relations office, who was a huge help with that. But reconnecting with all these girls, it's definitely one of the proudest parts of my coaching career at Villanova, and seeing where they are today and how they're helping people and just putting themselves out there and risking themselves. But they don't see it like that. They see it as, this is my job. This is what I've chosen to do. And it's exciting because a lot of places you cannot play field hockey and be a nursing major. And I do remember in my early years, I had a great player who wanted to be a nurse, and our practice times didn't coordinate at all. So I completely changed our practice times to go around this nursing major. And we have stuck to that ever since, because I don't want to lose a great player because she wants to have be a nursing major and have a great career with it. So we changed ourselves in order to work with them. And it's been the best decision, because a lot of places you can't do the two, and here you can. And we make it that you can. Yeah, is there a lot of flexibility? Do I need to be very flexible? Yeah, I do. But that's okay, because it's worth it.
I agree, and that's what makes Villanova such a great place. It's as good a mix of athletics and academics as you're going to find, as you just pinpointed right there. And it was just wonderful to see the number of people and all the former players and all the faces that we've seen through the years in the medical field. So did a great job by all of you guys gathering that to see how everybody's doing. Joanie, as we hit a new decade, lots of rule changes through the last 10 years, let's say. with collegiate field hockey and at the world level at FIH, what would you like to see as some newer changes, and what would you do if you got to make some rule changes in at least collegiate field hockey if the season were to start today?
I love where the game is today. I think they have made so many changes for the positive. I think the changes that they've made have really impacted the viewer and the innocent fan on the sideline and the stands now actually loves the game of field hockey at this level because it's exciting to watch. It's fast. There aren't as many whistles as there used to be. People before never knew, okay, what was that call? Now it's so fluid. It's so competitive. The skill level is so high. And I think they've done some really good changes. I think this past year when they went to quarters, because the FIH is having quarters instead of halves, I think that was definitely an adjustment. We're not sure if that is going to be where we stay for the future. Changing to quarters actually was a little difficult because it made our bench a little bit shorter, meaning that you didn't have you didn't have to sub as many people, which on our team, that's unfortunate. I like to get many players in there. But with these natural breaks of the 15 minutes, you have a natural break that you really don't need to sub people. So I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of the quarters. I might like going back to the halves. Some teams liked it, some teams didn't. So I think that's one area that we can probably, I'd say, move back to, going to halves. But I think the game is great where it is right now. I'd say the one thing I would like to probably see is high school players not overtraining. And they just have a lot on their plate. And I think they are training all year round. And they don't have that break. I think this actually has been a nice, healthy break for some field hockey players and not having a whole spring season. Just because I think it's going to bring back their passion and their desire. Like, all right, I can't wait to get back out there. But I'd say those two things probably stand out the most to me.
Fans, that's our Wildcat Insider. Thanks to longtime field hockey coach Joanie Milhous for joining us. I'm Nick Montaigne. Coach, thanks for the time.
Thanks so much, Nick.